Welcome everybody to this edition of the sports show with Mr. Balls, and today's a day of some sincerity. The world lost one of its global icons, and as a sports fan, losing someone like Kobe Bryant is just, besides being impactful, of shocking. It's just a reminder, as a father myself, of how precious life is, and it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're someone who no one knows their name, or an aspiring sports journalist, or Kobe Bryant, who everyone knows his name, or figures like these, like Magic Johnson and these guys. And wherever you are, you've got loved ones close to you. Spend time with them, be with them, hug them, kiss them, love them. That's just the general message that we get today, because Kobe Bryant wasn't just a basketball player. He was much more than that. He was revolutionary, and definitely inspiring to everybody with his Mamba mentality of, work hard and be the best at what you do. And Mr. Balls, we were planning on starting our show very soon, today even, and this isn't the day to start the show. So I'm not going to be in full character right now, and it's the intro, I suppose. Is not the way I planned on the public to meet Mr. Balls, but you know what? This is more important. And what I am also is a fan of Kobe's, and as a fan, I have a lot of questions as to what happened, what occurred today. And I've been following Kobe since he began, watching him as a kid growing up. I saw Michael Jordan, I saw Magic Johnson, and I saw Kobe Bryant, and I've been watching, today's LeBron James. And that's a great time to be watching basketball if you're an NBA fan. And what Kobe brought us, his level of greatness was just something where it didn't matter how good or bad the Lakers were, but as a fan, you knew they had a chance. And you're like, you know what, we have Kobe on the floor. Let's just see what happens. So being a fan of his, something I've been asking myself all day is, well, man, what happened? What happened with the helicopter? A lot of questions. How was this an accident? How many accidents happen with these helicopters? How common does this happen? Everybody knows that Kobe avoided traffic and used helicopters to get around town, and we all know that. But now I want to figure out what really happened in this. So to do that, I luckily in my family, I have an aeronautical engineer, and he showed me where you can find the flight patterns and the radars, and kind of what happened, at least that we know. So I wanted to share the same information that we found. So again, everything I'm going to tell you right now is all speculation. I am not an aviation expert. I am not telling you this is definitively what happened. Who knows? New information could be coming out any moment, but there is an ongoing investigation. These things do take some time. So to give everyone an idea of what we've been able to deduce and what we see has happened so far, these are the facts that we have. And I wanted to share it with you as fellow fans who are just out there on the internet curious and wondering what happened to Kobe, what happened in the airplanes. And, again, condolences to him and his family. If any of his family members see this, just know that obviously there's no words anyone can say. And the public, we've all lost something today. And we're all, going to support that family, of course, after this. And this isn't just to the Bryants, but the other individuals that were lost in this terrible tragedy. This community here in the Valley in SoCal, we are going to definitely rally behind them, and they will have our support every step of the way of anything they do. And it's just a thank you to their father, who was just such an example, their husband, who was such an example to us all. So again, in light of all that, let me get on with some of the facts so you could see some of the things that we've seen and we wanted to share with you. So the first thing I'm going to share with you is the type of helicopter that Kobe was in. And what we see here is it was a Sikorsky S-76B. And this was the information on what happened to Kobe today. Now, we looked into the history of this airplane, of this helicopter, and we saw that in the past, some of the other accidents that have occurred, they occurred also. This was in Turkey, for example, but it's the same model aircraft. The fog or low cloud base could be a factor in the accident. Okay, so this is something I wanted to show you that happened a while back. And also another moment that, another time when this happened was around some islands here close to Nigeria. The same helicopter also visual meteorological conditions prevailed at the time, and a VFR flight plan was filed. So again, we're seeing examples of the helicopter. Seems like fog causes problems and is a common thing in the accidents involved with this type of helicopter. So this one left today. If anyone knows, today, unfortunately, in Los Angeles, it was a foggier day than we've seen in a long time. There was an eerie fog this morning. It was very thick. And what I want to share with you here is this was Kobe's flight plan on his helicopter. And we see the helicopter started earlier, picked up Kobe along the way. They were in a holding pattern. We've listened to the audio files of when they're talking to the helicopter. And you can see here in his flight plan that he was very, they had a plan which they directed him to go up the 5 freeway, which is in northern Los Angeles, and come around because of certain wind patterns and the visuals and the fog and those type of things. So this was the pattern that was suggested to the pilot by ground control. And you can see that he's following it to the T. If you match this up with the audio files later, then you'll see how they suggest to him this flight path. So we're going to follow along here, and then this is where things get a little crazy. Now, if you notice along this entire flight pattern, and I'll start it back here just so you can see what I mean. This helicopter was flying low altitude all day. When it took off, it never really went over 1,000 feet. So if you look right here, it shows you the feet altitude of the helicopter. I'm just going to hit play and show you that as the helicopter was coming back here. Let's find this again. So when it's down here, when it was on its way, you can see it was 500, 600 feet, 500, 700, 600 feet, 575, 700, so forth. Gets a little bit higher, but it never really goes over 1,000 feet of elevation. And again, there was a very low cloud ceiling today. So this is very low flying throughout the city of Los Angeles. It becomes into a holding pattern at Glendale. Now at Glendale, it started to go up into the 800 or 900 feet area in this holding pattern, allowing for some cloud coverage to clear and so forth. Then they get the okay to proceed up into the valley, in which the helicopter does. And we start seeing that the altitude stays here. Again, we're at 850. Okay, it's getting a little higher, 900. Now we're over 1,000 feet for the first time all day. So the pilot is now cruising at a altitude of about 1,200 feet. Now you got to understand that when this helicopter arrives in the Calabasas area, it's about 2,000 feet average of the mountainous terrain there. But of course that dips and goes up depending on if you're going over a peak or you're more into a valley. So this is where things get a little more. You can see the pattern here. It's at about 1,250. All right, so now we're entering the area, and the pilot now is gone up to 1,525 feet vertically here. Up to 1,750, up to 1,950. Everything seems clear. As you can see here, the 101 freeway, which is what they were following. What's happening here is the pilot is using the 101 freeway as a visual to not get lost. But as you can see right here where we are now, this pilot has entered into this canyon area. And it's now, the pilot's at about 2,000 feet. Well, up in that area, there's a lot of low visibility. The fog and the clouds are around that altitude, and therefore that causes a problem for the pilot. So the pilot then, let's see if I can show it to you quick enough here. I don't know if I can show it in a slower mode, but here we go. Yeah, that pretty much ends it. I'll have to do it this way. So as you can see, the pilot goes up to about 1950, 2125, 2050 here. But the pilot veers off course. So because the pilot wanted to account for the nearby mountainous terrain, the pilot pulls up here, right here around the green area. Okay. So right there, it's at 2125 feet. All right. And then here's where things go wrong. Pilot's at about 2,050 feet, and these mountains are around that area. So pilot thinks here that he's basically about to go straight down into this area. Little does the pilot realize that through all the, the low visibility and everything, and I don't know what the current instrument panels are on these helicopters to tell you if he should have known more, or a lot of these have proximity warnings sensors to where when you're around certain areas, maybe it triggers off and it says warning, close to land, warning, close to water. It's unclear to me because I don't have the box information that states if he turned it off or anything. Because sometimes it can get annoying and you're like, well, you want to shut that off. And but for whatever reason, the pilot loses visibility of the road. And the theory that we have here is that the pilot was looking for the road again, which is why the pilot dipped down, thinking that it had clear space. But in the process of dipping down, unfortunately, at 1,700 feet, you can see that at the point of impact, this helicopter was traveling at about 250 miles an hour. And, so unfortunate instincts and guessing from the pilot have basically, it basically led to the pilot violently crashing into the mountainside at a speed of around 250 miles per hour. And then, of course, it pretty much exploding on impact and causing a fire there in that area. So there's no chance of surviving something like that. And it's just really, again, the only reason why we're doing this video was just in case you had any questions. I don't know if that made it a lot clearer to everybody. But there's a lot of indicators that show that, unfortunately, the helicopter pilot, right before crashing, nosedives the helicopter in a quick, acceleration downward. And that could be because of various factors, which could include, sometimes there's different wind patterns around mountains. It could have been a pocket of wind that, as he brought the nose down to see the surrounding area, could be that a wind pattern around the mountain hit maybe the nose of the airplane to drive it even further faster, and then he didn't realize how little room he had between himself and the mountain that he just crashed right into it. It just shows that the last 14-15 seconds of the flight, the helicopter goes up and then comes down and quickly smashes into the mountain. So I don't think that everyone on board, from what we can see, had a lot of time to really know that something bad was about to happen until the last couple seconds. And, it's just tragic all around. So, again, the goal here with this is simply just to bring a little bit of light and information to this wonderful person that we've all gotten to enjoy for many years now, Kobe Bryant. And again, not that words are going to help right now, but condolences to the family. And, from all of us here in as Laker fans and as NBA fans, you don't have to be. And I even know people who have been, reaching out in my social media networks that have been saying that they weren't even Kobe Bryant fans as a player, but they just couldn't help but be inspired of what he was doing after the game of basketball. And as a father, that was the most impressive part to me, to see that I'm so happy Kobe did get some quality years with his beautiful daughters and wife. And he really got to grow in a small amount of years. He got to spend a lot of time with them, and they got to see who he was and what he's all about. And, I'm just happy for him that he did get that. I'm sure that brings, his soul some comfort. But way too soon to lose someone like Kobe. I couldn't wait to see what his next projects were going to be. I knew he was going to kill it in the as a media mogul and probably become, you know, as big as a Disney studio, knowing how Kobe uses that Mamba mentality to whatever he does. The sky was the limit for this man, and so who knows what the potential was. But I think the world will always be impacted by Kobe Bryant's life, as I know I am, as I know most of my friends are. And again, this video is just about bringing some light to the situation. So if you have any questions, post them underneath. I'll be happy to answer some of those in the comment section. Again, this is just the beginning of a lot of Mr. Ball's sports presentations we're going to do. This one's serious because it's about a serious issue. But we hope to bring you entertainment in the future, make you laugh, make you smile, distract you from all those other things that, you know, do what these guys do, right? I mean, we watch sports to get away from moments like these, but sometimes these moments, they affect us all. And today, again, we lost a legend. So rest in peace, Kobe Bean Bryant. And you will be missed. You will not be forgotten. And, you know, thanks for tuning in. Again, any questions, leave them below. Like and subscribe. There will be more videos to come in the near future. So, adios.